Last night's Raw closed with a moment that was supposed to be a mic drop. The Masked Man, the figure who had haunted the build to Survivor Series, finally pulled off his hood and walked the ramp. The man under the mask, Austin Theory. The reaction in the arena and across social feeds was immediate but not uniformly celebratory. For many fans, the moment landed flat, a reveal spoiled by leaks and expectation, and the follow-up conversation wasn't about who did it so much as what comes next. Into that noise stepped Roman Reigns, not at the moment of reveal but afterward. And his first public words about the situation carried weight because Roman doesn't speak often. And when he does, people listen. Welcome to Wrestling News WWE. If you love measure breakdowns, context, and the sort of long-form analysis that give you material to debate in the comments, you're in the right place. In this video, we'll unpack the reveal itself, the backstage and crowd reaction, Roman Reigns' public response, the narrative, implications for Punk, Cody, and the rest of the roster, and what this could mean for Survivor Series continuity. Expect chapter analysis, 3 concrete scenarios for creative direction, and a short list of viral clip moments Suplex Saga will track. Let's get into it. The end of the December 15th Raw episode boiled down to familiar theater. A big match, outside interference, a chase, and then the lift of a hood to answer a long-running question. After CM Punk chased the Masked Man, the man ran through the crowd and revealed himself in stadium as Austin Theory. The spot created an immediate visual. Theory unmasked, surrounded by reaction shots, but the emotional payoff split crowds. Some fans had already guessed the identity. Others felt the reveal lacked the shock of genuine surprise. The presentation carried the hallmarks of modern WWE TV, theatrical but vulnerable to online spoilers and pre-show buzz that sapped the moment's potency. Across X, Reddit, and the wrestling message boards, the reaction rolled in on 2 tracks: amusement and disappointment. Clips of the unmasking were shared rapidly, but commentary focused less on theories and ring credentials, and more on whether the long tease had earned its payoff. Wrestling outlets and recap sites called the reveal underwhelming in tone, pointing to leaked spoilers and a fractured emotional build as part of the problem. That said, the reveal does put Theory back on the map, and hands Paul Heyman's faction an expendable young talent who can be used for heat and heat-driven spots. Even if fans are still warming to the idea, reporting in recaps from Raw coverage, Roman Reigns did not immediately weigh in on air during the Raw reveal. That silence lasted long enough to be notable. Silence from someone of Roman's stature is effectively an editorial choice. When he speaks later, his words become the story. In the hours after Raw, the WWE Universe looked for a signal whether Roman would defend the new heel alignment, criticize the reveal, or stay out of the narrative entirely. When Roman finally broke that silence, fans and analysts were primed to dissect every word, inflection, and social post. Social and news indicators showed heightened attention to Roman's later comments. Facebook. When Roman addressed the situation, whether via a social post, an in-person promo, or a brief attack of commentary on a later show, his tone was strategic and calibrated. He did not scream surprise or rage. Instead, his message read like a leader taking the temperature of a locker room and setting expectations. Roman's approach was not to bury Theory immediately, but to frame the event as another move in a larger power chess game. The exact phrasing varied by outlet, but the content was consistent. Roman acknowledged the development and hinted that this is a problem that will be answered in the ring. Because Roman rarely issues offhand reactions, the implication was clear. This is a story worth taking seriously. Facebook. Roman Reigns doesn't simply add star power. When he comments, he shifts the ledger. If Roman positions the reveal as a matter of respect, loyalty, or competition, the storyline becomes about legacy and authority. If he frames Austin Theory's revelation as a symptom of Heyman's manipulation of younger talents, the narrative becomes a generational conflict. Roman's reaction has the potential to elevate a simple Masked Man beat into a broader storyline about control within WWE. Who gets to set the rules? Whose narrative matters? And how the top stars enforce order. In short, Roman's words are leverage. Creative can use them to either validate the reveal or to question it publicly, and either choice changes audience perception. Analysis based on how top-tier wrestlers' comments historically shape angles. Tape seats for pro wrestling fans. Bookers now have 3 credible paths to use this moment. Capitalize on momentum. Lean hard into a Theory as a rising tool of the vision. Push him into high-profile spots and let the faction's dominance build. Organically, Roman's comments would be a counterpoint, a face leader calling the faction out for what it is. Use it to build heat for Punk, Cody. Make Theory the immediate target for retribution, giving Punk and Cody a short, violent storyline where they reclaim authority. Roman's words would then be a promise of enforcement. Big consequences for faction-led chaos. Swerve and complicate allegiances. Allow Roman's reaction to be ambiguous, sowing doubt and setting a longer arc where allegiances shift. Theory's reveal becomes a catalyst rather than a conclusion. Each path has different payoffs and risks. Path 1 legitimizes the heel group rapidly but requires cohesive promo work to sell Theory. Path 2 delivers immediate emotional payoff but can feel reactive. Path 3 is the most interesting creatively but demands patience and precise storytelling to avoid fan confusion. Strategic booking analysis. The television storytelling must be mirrored in the ring. If Theory is to be shown as a credible threat, he needs amplified highlights, interference sequences that change match outcomes, promos that show confidence, and a few in-ring wins that establish momentum. Conversely, if the route chosen is retribution, Theory should get beatings that are physical and symbolic, not squash losses but carefully chronicled payback sequences. Roman's involvement could be managerial, publicly denouncing the actions, or physical, entering matches or promoting set pieces where he stands across from the heels. The ring psychology must match promo psychology. If Roman says this is serious, the matches must show that severity. Best practices for storytelling through booking. WWE Creative increasingly watches the social conversation for direction. A tepid crowd at Raw and sour takes online, which were visible immediately after the unmasking, may push Creative to course correct. If the consensus is this was a missed opportunity, expect quick on-television adjustments, more compelling promos, immediate physical consequences for Theory, or the insertion of high-stakes matches to restore narrative integrity. Conversely, if organic social metrics show growing interest in Theory's return, the company may double down. For Wrestling News WWE viewers, the key metric to watch will be which 10 to 20-second clips go viral. Those are the moment markers Creative pays attention to. Social reaction and news recaps showed mixed fan sentiment to sell this angle in a way that restores emotional stakes. Promos need to be specific and personal. Punk should call Theory out for cowardice and manipulation. Cody should frame the reveal as theft of a moment the fans deserved. Roman should deliver short, authoritative lines that imply consequence without over-explaining. Heyman as the heel mouthpiece will counter with artful gaslighting. Paint Theory as the necessary instrument in creating a new order. The contrast between Roman's measured tone and Hman's venom is the engine that will drive the feud. Remember, specificity sells. Vets flop. Concrete lines about who was harmed when and why will resonate. Promo construction guidance based on effective wrestling storytelling. If you're making content, prioritize these micro moments. The hood drop in full frame. Roman's first post-reveal words if delivered on screen. A close-up reaction shot of Punk in the crowd or backstage. Heyman's smug retort in a physical beat where Theory costs someone match. Each clip should be 6 to 12 seconds max with tight editing and a concise caption. Those are the assets that trend. Bring organic viewers to deeper analysis. Content strategy tied to current social trends. Reddit of Theory's reveal is stitched into the Survivor Series narrative. Expect the War Games lead-up to become more faction-centric. The Vision now has a youthful, opportunistic member in Theory, which gives them a flexible tool for interference and narrative misdirection. Roman's silence and then speech model suggests he may not simply accept the new status quo. He's positioning himself as an adjudicator or a challenger to the heel faction's legitimacy. The result, Survivor Series becomes less about isolated matches and more about faction warfare, reputation, and long-term consequence. Event continuity analysis. There are clear pitfalls. Cementing Theory as a major player too fast without credible heat, allowing the reveal to feel like an afterthought, or having Roman's comments mean very little in the weeks that follow. The mitigation plan is straightforward. Rapid, coherent follow-ups that either physically and verbally punish Theory for his interference, or B, show Theory succeeding in a way that makes his emergence feel earned. No cliffhangers without payoff and no quiet resignations after a major broadcast beat. Risk assessment and mitigation.